How tired is your heart from running after what was never meant to be caught by fear? Maybe no one sees it. Maybe from the outside you look calm. You answer messages. You do your work. You smile when you need to smile. You keep moving through your day as if everything is fine. But inside, there may be a part of you that is still chasing. Chasing a reply, chasing a sign, chasing a feeling of being chosen, chasing certainty, chasing the proof that you have not been forgotten, chasing the moment when life finally says, yes, this is yours, you can relax now. And perhaps you have been telling yourself that this is just ambition, just love, just hope, just caring deeply. And maybe some of it is. Desire is not wrong. Wanting something beautiful is not wrong. Hoping for love, peace, stability, abundance, healing, or a new beginning is not wrong. But there is a kind of wanting that feels open. And there is a kind of wanting that feels like panic. There is a kind of desire that expands the heart. And there is a kind of desire that makes the body tighten, the mind race, and the spirit forget its own worth. If you have been living in that tight place, take a slow breath right now. Not because you have done something wrong, not because you need to fix yourself, but because your heart deserves one moment where it is not being pulled in every direction. You do not have to chase to be worthy of receiving. Let those words land softly. You do not have to chase to be worthy of receiving. For so long, you may have believed that if you stopped trying so hard, everything would slip away. If you stopped checking, stopped proving, stopped reaching, stopped pushing, stopped making yourself available for every little sign, then what you wanted would disappear. But maybe the opposite is closer to the truth. Maybe the chase has not been bringing you closer to peace. Maybe it has been taking you farther away from yourself. And maybe tonight, or today, or whenever these words find you, life is not asking you to run faster. Maybe life is asking you to become still enough to hear what your soul has been trying to say. There is a quiet kind of power that does not announce itself. It does not beg. It does not pull at sleeves. It does not shout to be noticed. It does not twist itself into shapes just to be accepted. It sits within you like a candle flame protected from the wind, steady, warm, present. This is calm energy. Calm energy is not cold. It is not careless. It is not pretending that you do not want what you want. It is not giving up on love or abundance or change or the beautiful unfolding of your life. Calm energy is the moment your spirit says, I can want this and still remain whole. I can desire this and still breathe. I can hope for this and still honor myself. I can open my hands without closing my heart. So many people confuse calm with weakness. They think that if they are not chasing, they are not doing enough. If they are not worrying, they are not being responsible. If they are not gripping tightly, they are not committed. But fear can be very convincing. Fear can dress itself up as devotion. Fear can call itself effort. Fear can tell you that panic means you care. But peace cares too. Peace may care more deeply because peace does not destroy you in the process. You can love without losing yourself. You can want without begging. You can take action without forcing. You can be devoted to your life without being driven by fear. Place one hand over your heart if that feels natural, or simply bring your attention to the center of your chest. Notice the place in you that has been working so hard to be chosen by something outside of you. A person, a result, a future, a number, a title, a door opening, a message arriving, a sign appearing. And with as much kindness as you can, whisper inwardly, I see how hard I have been trying. Not with judgment, not with shame, just honesty. I see how hard I have been trying. Sometimes healing begins the moment we stop pretending we are not tired. And you may be tired. Tired of waiting. Tired of hoping. Tired of making excuses for what does not meet you with the same care. Tired of trying to read the silence. Tired of wondering if you are too much or not enough. Tired of asking life, when will it be my turn? If that is where you are, let this be a gentle hand on your shoulder. You are not wrong for wanting more. You are not foolish for believing in good. You are not weak because your heart has been reaching. But you are allowed to stop running after the things that make you forget your own breath. There is a difference between walking toward what matters and chasing what keeps moving away from your peace. Walking has dignity. Chasing has fear. Walking listens. Chasing reacts. Walking allows you to remain connected to yourself. Chasing often makes you abandon the very person who needs your love the most, yourself. Think for a moment about the way the body feels when it is chasing. The chest tightens, the stomach grips, the breath becomes shallow, the eyes keep searching, the hands reach for the phone. The mind begins to build stories out of tiny details. A pause becomes rejection. A delay becomes proof. Someone else's success becomes a verdict on your own life. The body does not feel like a home in those moments. It feels like a waiting room. And you were not created to live as a waiting room for someone else's arrival. You are a whole life. You are not just a person waiting to be answered. You are not just a heart waiting to be picked. You are not just a dream waiting for permission. You are here now, breathing now, worthy now. Before anything changes outside of you, something can soften inside of you. This is where the path begins. Not by forcing yourself not to care, not by pretending you have no desire, not by repeating words you do not feel until you become numb, but by gently separating desire from desperation. Desire is clean. Desire is honest. Desire says, this would be beautiful. This matters to me. I would love to experience this. I am open to this good. Desperation says, if this does not happen, I am nothing. Desire opens a window. Desperation pounds on a locked door until your hands ache. Desire lets the heart breathe. Desperation makes every moment feel like an emergency. And here is something tender to understand. Desperation is not your enemy. It is a frightened part of you asking for reassurance. It is the old wound saying, please do not leave me alone again. It is the child within you wondering if love will come back. It is the tired spirit wondering if life can be trusted. So we do not shame desperation. We hold it. We listen to it. We teach it a new way. You might say quietly, I honor my desires, but I do not let fear lead them. Again, softly. I honor my desires, but I do not let fear lead them. Let this become a turning point in your energy, not a harsh decision, not a dramatic declaration, just a gentle shift, a small return to center. You can still want the love. You can still want the opportunity. You can still want the home, the peace, the answer, the healing, the next chapter. But you do not have to kneel before the desire as if it is the source of your worth. Your worth came before the desire. Your worth will remain whether it arrives today, later, differently, or not in the form you expected. This is not always easy to accept because the mind loves certainty. The mind wants to know. The mind wants dates, proof, guarantees, messages, outcomes. The mind wants to stand at the window and watch every road. It wants to make sure nothing is missed. But the soul is quieter. The soul says, breathe. The soul says, come back. The soul says, what is meant for the deepest truth of you will not require the destruction of your peace. This does not mean every desire will arrive exactly as imagined. It does not mean life will always follow your preferred timing. It does not mean you will never feel disappointed. Spiritual maturity is not pretending that every unanswered prayer feels easy, but it does mean this. You can meet uncertainty without making it proof that you are unloved. You can wait without punishing yourself. You can desire without becoming desperate. You can release the chase and still remain open to good. Imagine a bird resting on a branch outside your window. If you rush toward it with frantic hands, it flies away. Not because you are bad, not because you are undeserving, but because the energy is too sudden, too tight, too full of need. But when you become still, when your breathing slows, when your presence becomes gentle, the bird may remain. It may even come closer. And even if it flies away, you are not left broken because you have not abandoned yourself in the reaching. So much of life responds to the quality of our presence. not in a way that guarantees every outcome, but in a way that changes how we move, how we choose, how we speak, how we receive, how we notice what is truly aligned. When your energy is frantic, you may accept things that do not honor you. When your energy is calm, you can see more clearly. When your energy is desperate, you may confuse attention with love. When your energy is calm, you can feel the difference between being wanted and being valued. When your energy is fearful, you may chase doors that are closing. When your energy is calm, you may notice the quiet path opening beside you. This is why calm energy matters. Not because it is a trick to make life obey, not because it is a method to control another person, not because it guarantees that every desire will arrive exactly on command. Calm energy matters because it returns you to your wisdom. It returns you to your self-respect. It returns you to the quiet knowing that you can participate in life without wrestling it to the ground. Take another breath. Let your shoulders soften. Let your jaw loosen. Let your hands open, even a little. If there is something you have been chasing, you do not need to name it out loud. Your heart knows. Maybe you have been chasing love. Maybe you have been chasing approval from someone who never learned how to give it. Maybe you have been chasing success because you believe rest must be earned. Maybe you have been chasing money because safety has felt far away. Maybe you have been chasing a version of yourself that never feels satisfied. Whatever it is, bring it gently into your awareness. See how much energy you have given it. See how many thoughts have circled around it. See how often your mood has risen or fallen because of it. And without anger, without blame, say inwardly, I am willing to stop abandoning myself for this. Not I must stop wanting it. Not I must never think about it again. Only this. I am willing to stop abandoning myself for this. That is enough for now. There is a sacred difference between surrender and defeat. Defeat says, nothing good is coming. Surrender says, I no longer choose to hurt myself while I wait. Defeat closes the heart. Surrender relaxes the hand. Defeat is heavy. Surrender is spacious. And the kind of letting go we are speaking of here is not hopeless. It is not bitter. It is not a wall around your heart. It is not the cold sentence, I do not care anymore. It is softer than that. It sounds like, I care, but I will not chase. I desire, but I will not beg. I hope, but I will not abandon my peace. I am open, but I am not empty. I trust, but I also honor myself. This is the energy that begins to change your relationship with life. Because when you stop chasing, you create room. Room to hear your own thoughts. Room to feel your own body. Room to notice what is actually being offered. Room to recognize what is not aligned. Room to let good approach you without grabbing at it. For many people, receiving feels unfamiliar. Chasing feels familiar. Proving feels familiar. Overgiving feels familiar. Waiting anxiously feels familiar. Trying to earn love feels familiar. Calm can feel strange at first. Peace can feel suspicious. Rest can feel undeserved. A quiet mind can feel like something is missing. This is why you must be patient with yourself. You are learning a new inner language. You are teaching your body that it does not need to live in emergency to be loved. You are teaching your heart that it can remain open without becoming desperate. You are teaching your spirit that trust is not the same as doing nothing. Trust still takes steps. Trust still speaks truth. Trust still applies for the opportunity, makes the call, sets the boundary, creates the work, opens the heart. But trust does not attach your worth to the outcome. Trust moves from fullness, not emptiness. Trust says, I will do my part, and I will not make myself suffer over the parts I cannot control. There may be someone listening who feels afraid of this, afraid that if they stop chasing, the person will not come. The opportunity will not arrive. The dream will fade. The door will close. The world will forget them. But perhaps the fear itself is the wound asking to be held. What if you did not need to keep proving your existence to life? What if your presence already mattered? What if what is right for you does not require you to become smaller, louder, faster, prettier, more perfect, less emotional, less honest, less yourself? What if calm is not the absence of desire, but the presence of self-worth? Let that question stay with you. Calm is not the absence of desire. Calm is the presence of self-worth. When you know you are worthy, you do not need to turn every delay into a judgment. You do not need to make every silence about your value. You do not need to collapse every time something does not arrive on your timeline. You can feel disappointment, yes. You can feel sadness, yes. You can feel uncertainty, yes. But you can feel these things without handing them the pen and letting them write your identity. You are still here, still breathing, still becoming, still allowed to receive good. And sometimes the first form of good is not the outer thing arriving. Sometimes the first form of good is your own nervous system beginning to unclench. Sometimes it is the moment you do not send the message from panic. Sometimes it is the evening you choose rest instead of searching for proof. Sometimes it is the breath you take before saying yes to something that does not feel right. Sometimes it is the quiet decision to stop auditioning for love. Sometimes it is the simple sentence, I am enough even here. That sentence can become a doorway. I am enough even here. Not only when someone chooses me, not only when the money comes, not only when the plan works, not only when my body changes, not only when I am praised, not only when I am understood. I am enough even here. Let it be simple. Let it be quiet. You do not have to force belief. Just let the words sit near you. Sometimes a new belief begins as a guest before it becomes a home. The chase often begins when we believe something outside of us has the power to complete the unfinished places within us. And it is natural to want comfort from the world. We all need connection. We all need support. We all need tenderness. We all need opportunities. We all need a sense that life is not only struggle, but no outer thing can become a safe home for you if you are constantly leaving yourself to get it. This is why coming back to yourself is not selfish. It is the foundation. When you return to yourself, you do not stop loving others. You love with clearer eyes. When you return to yourself, you do not stop building abundance. You build without hating where you are. When you return to yourself, you do not stop dreaming. You dream without turning the present moment into an enemy. When you return to yourself, you do not stop receiving. You finally become available to receive without fear twisting every gift into pressure. So take this moment as a return, not a perfect return, not a final return. Just one honest breath back into your own body. Inhale gently. Exhale the need to run. Inhale again. Exhale the belief that you must prove your worth. One more time. Inhale the possibility of peace. Exhale the chase just for this moment. You may feel the mind trying to argue. It may say, but what if I lose it? What if I miss it? What if someone else gets there first? What if I am too late? What if nothing comes unless I force it? Thank the mind for trying to protect you. Then remind it gently, fear is not the only way to move. You can move from love. You can move from clarity. You can move from steadiness. You can move from trust. You can move from a place inside you that does not need to panic to be powerful. A tree does not chase the sun across the sky. It roots itself deeply, opens its leaves, and receives what comes in season. It grows not by running, but by remaining connected to its source. You too have roots. Your roots are your values, your breath, your self-respect, your inner knowing, your connection to something greater than fear, your ability to pause, your willingness to be honest with yourself, your choice to speak gently inwardly when the world feels uncertain. When you are rooted, you can still reach, but your reaching is different. It is not frantic. It is alive. It is not begging. It is open. It is not self-abandoning. It is guided. This is the shift the listener inside you has been longing for. The shift from chasing to allowing, from proving to being, from gripping to trusting, from urgency to inner safety. Inner safety is where calm energy begins. Not because the world becomes perfectly predictable. It does not. Not because people always respond the way you hope. They may not. Not because every plan unfolds without challenge. Life has its seasons. Inner safety means that even when the outside is uncertain, you do not become cruel to yourself. You stop making your own heart the enemy. You stop speaking to yourself as if you are late, lacking, and losing. You stop turning every unknown into a punishment. Instead, you begin to say, I can be with myself in this. I can breathe through this. I can take the next right step without chasing the whole staircase. I can let this moment be enough to stand on. That is calm energy. It is not a performance. It is not something you wear so others will approve of you. It is the atmosphere you create inside your own being. And from that atmosphere, everything begins to feel different. Not necessarily instantly, not always dramatically, but quietly, gently, little by little. You may still want the same things, but you no longer want them from the same wound. You may still take action, but the action is cleaner. You may still feel longing, but longing does not swallow your whole identity. You may still wait, but waiting becomes less like punishment and more like preparation. This is a mature kind of peace. It does not deny desire. It purifies it. It asks, can I want this without losing myself? Can I care without controlling? Can I hope without hurting my own heart? Can I open without chasing? And even if the answer today is only, I am willing to learn, that is enough. Willingness is a very sacred beginning. You do not need to master calm energy in one listening. You do not need to walk away from this moment as a perfectly peaceful person who never checks, never worries, never doubts, never reaches from fear. That would only become another thing to chase. Instead, let this be softer. Let this be a practice of returning. When you notice yourself chasing, return. When you notice yourself spiraling, return. When you notice yourself measuring your worth by someone else's response, return. When you notice yourself trying to force timing, return. Return to the breath. Return to the body. Return to the heart. Return to the quiet truth that what is meant for your highest peace will not require you to live in constant fear. There is a version of you that does not chase. Not because this version has no desires, but because this version knows they are not empty. There is a version of you that lets life approach, not with arrogance, not with passivity, but with trust. There is a version of you that can say, I am open to what is aligned, and I release what only keeps me anxious. There is a version of you that no longer confuses intensity with love, pressure with purpose, or struggle with worth. That version is not far away. It is not waiting at the end of years of perfection. It appears in small moments. the moment you pause before reacting, the moment you breathe instead of begging. The moment you choose dignity instead of panic. The moment you let the unanswered thing remain unanswered for one more breath while you return to yourself. These moments matter. They are small on the outside, but powerful within. Because each time you do not chase from fear, you send a new message to your heart. You say, I am staying with you. You say, I will not leave you just to be chosen. You say, we can want beautiful things and still be whole. Let your body hear that. Let the places that have felt desperate hear that. Let the old fear of being forgotten hear that. I am staying with you. I will not leave you just to be chosen. We can want beautiful things and still be whole. There is tenderness here. There may even be grief, because when you stop chasing, you may begin to feel how long you have been tired. You may realize how much energy you spent trying to receive from places that could not meet you. You may feel sadness for the times you made yourself smaller, quieter, more convenient, more pleasing, more available than your spirit truly wanted to be. If that sadness comes, let it be met with compassion. Do not turn your healing into another place of judgment. You were doing what you knew. You were reaching for safety. You were trying to be loved. You were trying to make life feel certain. And now you are learning something gentler. You are learning that the love you seek must never require you to become unkind to yourself. You are learning that peace is not something you receive only after everything works out. Peace is something you practice so that, whatever unfolds, you do not lose your connection to your own soul. You are learning that calm energy is not empty. It is full of self-respect, and self-respect changes the way you wait. It changes the way you speak. It changes the way you choose. It changes what you are willing to entertain. It changes how long you stand outside doors that do not open. It changes how quickly you return to yourself when fear begins to pull. A calm person can still love deeply. A calm person can still dream boldly. A calm person can still work, create, pray, plan, and act. But a calm person does not turn every desire into a master. They do not hand over their peace to every uncertain outcome. They do not make another person's hesitation the measure of their own beauty. They do not make a delay the proof that life is against them. They breathe, they listen, they open, they take the next step. They trust themselves to meet what comes. This is the kind of calm we are calling back into your life. Not perfect calm, human calm. A calm that trembles sometimes but still returns. A calm that cries sometimes but does not collapse into self-abandonment. A calm that wants beautiful things but refuses to worship fear. A calm that says, even here, I belong to myself. Say this softly if it feels true enough to try. I belong to myself. Let there be a pause after it. I belong to myself. This one affirmation can begin to loosen the chase, because so much chasing begins when we forget this truth. You belong to yourself before you belong anywhere else. Before the relationship, before the role, before the achievement, before the answer, before the next chapter, you are already someone. You are already a living, breathing presence. You are already worthy of tenderness. You are already allowed to rest. And the more you remember this, the less you will chase what makes you forget it. This does not mean you will never desire again. In fact, your desires may become more honest, more aligned, less tangled with fear, less attached to proving, less desperate to be validated by people or outcomes that cannot hold the fullness of who you are. When desire is cleansed of panic, it becomes prayer, not a prayer of begging, a prayer of openness. It says, I am available for what is true. I am available for what is loving. I am available for what meets me in peace. I am available for the path that honors my soul. And if something is not that path, give me the grace to release it without turning against myself. That is a beautiful way to live. Not always easy, but beautiful, because it gives life room to breathe, and it gives you room to breathe too. So before we go deeper into worthiness, before we look at the places where you learn to prove and perform for love, let this first truth become a soft foundation beneath you. The chase can pause, just for now. You do not have to solve the desire. You do not have to decide what everything means. You do not have to force certainty from silence. You do not have to reach outside yourself for permission to feel enough. Let the chase pause. Let the breath return. Let your shoulders lower. Let your heart remember that it was never meant to live in constant pursuit. There is another way to meet life, a calmer way, a wiser way, a way that still believes in love, still welcomes abundance, still trusts timing, still honors desire, but does not sacrifice inner peace at the altar of wanting. And as that way begins to open within you, you may start to see something clearly. So much of what you chased was never only about the thing itself. It was about wanting to feel chosen, wanting to feel secure, wanting to feel enough, wanting to feel that your life was finally moving, wanting to feel that you mattered. And this is where the healing becomes tender. Because you do matter. Not later. Not when they notice. Not when the result arrives. Not when the door opens. Not when the world claps. You matter here. You matter now. And the more deeply you allow that truth to touch you, the less you will feel the need to run after anything that asks you to forget it. And when you begin to feel that you matter now, something inside you stops performing so loudly for love. There is a deep ache in many hearts that says, if I can just become more pleasing, more impressive, more patient, more beautiful, more successful, more useful, more understanding, more available, then maybe I will finally be chosen. Maybe then the door will open. Maybe then the person will stay. Maybe then life will reward me. Maybe then I can rest. But the soul was never meant to live as an audition. You were not placed here to spend your days proving that you are worthy of basic tenderness. You were not created to twist yourself into someone else's comfort just to receive a little warmth. You were not meant to turn your gifts into a performance so that the world would finally agree that you deserve good. There is a quiet pain in proving. At first, it can feel like hope. You tell yourself, I am just doing my best. I am just showing love. I am just working hard. I am just trying to make things happen. And sometimes that is true. There is nothing wrong with effort. There is nothing wrong with care. There is nothing wrong with showing up with devotion. But when effort becomes a way to beg for worth, it begins to drain the spirit. When giving becomes a way to earn safety, it stops feeling like love. When patience becomes a way to excuse what hurts you, it stops being peace. When understanding becomes a way to silence your own needs, it stops being kindness. So listen gently. You do not have to prove you are worth choosing. You may need to show up honestly. You may need to grow. You may need to communicate. You may need to take practical steps. You may need to learn new patterns. Life does invite us to mature, but none of that is the same as proving your worth. Worth is not a prize at the end of exhaustion. Worth is the ground beneath you before the journey even begins. Imagine for a moment that you are holding a bowl in your hands. This bowl is your energy. Every time you over-explain to someone who is not listening, a little spills out. Every time you say yes when your whole body is asking for rest, a little spills out. Every time you chase approval from a place that keeps you hungry, a little spills out. Every time you ignore your own discomfort just to keep a connection, a little spills out. And then, by the end of the day, you wonder why you feel empty. You wonder why even good things feel tiring. You wonder why love feels like labor. You wonder why you cannot hear your inner guidance. It is because so much of your life force has been poured into places that did not know how to hold it with care. This is not a reason to become hard. This is not a reason to close the heart or distrust everyone. This is simply an invitation to become more honest about where your energy goes. Not every open door is your door. Not every invitation is aligned. Not every person who enjoys your light is able to honor your heart. Not every opportunity that sparkles is peaceful. And when you are chasing, it becomes harder to tell the difference. You may start to mistake attention for affection. You may mistake intensity for devotion. You may mistake being needed for being loved. You may mistake being busy for being guided. You may mistake someone's occasional warmth for true emotional safety. But when your energy becomes calm, you can feel more clearly. Calm does not make you less loving. It makes your love wiser. It gives you the space to ask, does this nourish me too? Does this connection allow me to breathe? Does this dream ask me to grow? or does it ask me to abandon myself? Does this path feel expansive, or does it keep me locked in fear? These are not questions of ego. These are questions of self-respect. And self-respect is not the opposite of spirituality. It is part of spirituality. To honor yourself is to honor the life moving through you. To speak kindly to yourself is to respect the sacredness within you. To stop chasing what diminishes you is not bitterness. It is a return to truth. You can be loving and still have boundaries. You can be generous and still be discerning. You can be hopeful and still refuse to chase what repeatedly wounds your peace. You can forgive someone and still stop running after their approval. You can believe in divine timing and still choose not to wait in a place that harms your spirit. Let that be a relief. Sometimes people think spirituality means tolerating everything. They think being peaceful means never saying no, never walking away, never asking for more, never admitting that something hurts. But true peace is not self-erasure. True peace is honest. True peace says, I can bless you and still choose myself. True peace says, I can trust life and still leave what is not kind. True peace says, I can be open to love and still no longer chase crumbs. There is a version of you that knows this already. Maybe you have felt it in small flashes. A moment when you did not reply immediately from fear. A moment when you let someone's silence remain theirs. A moment when you chose sleep instead of spiraling. A moment when you stopped explaining your value to a person who had already decided not to see it. Those moments may have seemed small, but they were sacred. Each one was your spirit standing up inside you. Each one was a quiet declaration. I will not keep leaving myself. You do not have to say it loudly. You do not have to prove it to anyone. You do not have to post it, announce it, or turn it into a wall. You only have to practice it in the private moments where your old fear asks you to chase again. When the fear says, do more, maybe you pause. When the fear says, make them understand, maybe you breathe. When the fear says, you are losing your chance, maybe you place your hand on your heart and say, what is aligned with me will not require me to panic, not as a guarantee, not as a spell, as a stabilizing truth. What is deeply aligned with me will not require me to panic. Let those words be new, not forced. Let them enter gently. Let them speak to the part of you that has believed love must be earned through anxiety. Because real love, healthy love, nourishing love does not need you to disappear from yourself. And what is meant for the true you will not only recognize the version of you who performs, it will meet the version of you who is honest, tender, imperfect, learning, still becoming. There is something very healing about realizing that you do not have to be in your most polished state to be worthy of good. You do not have to be constantly strong. You do not have to have all the answers. You do not have to be endlessly calm. You do not have to become someone else's perfect idea of lovable. The real you is not a problem to be corrected before life can bless you. The real you is where the blessing begins. When you are chasing, you often send a version of yourself ahead of you, a brighter version, a quieter version, a more pleasing version, a version with fewer needs, a version that does not ask hard questions, a version that smiles even when something feels wrong, a version that says, "I am fine," when the heart is asking to be held. And then, if something comes toward that version, you may feel even more alone because it did not meet you. It met the mask you wore while trying to be chosen. But when you let the chase soften, the mask can loosen too. You can begin to let life meet you as you are. This does not mean spilling every wound into every room. It does not mean sharing your heart with people who have not earned trust. It does not mean abandoning wisdom. It means that inside yourself, you stop rejecting the truth of who you are. You stop saying, "I will be worthy when I am calmer." You stop saying, "I will be lovable when I am healed." You stop saying, "I will be chosen when I am more successful." You stop saying, "I will rest when I have finally earned peace." Instead, you begin again from a kinder place. I am learning, and I am still worthy. I am growing, and I am still allowed to receive. I am imperfect, and I am still deserving of respect. I have needs, and they do not make me too much. I have a heart, and it does not make me weak. Let the body soften around that. You have been trying so hard to become the kind of person life would not pass by. But perhaps life has not been asking you to become more impressive. Perhaps life has been inviting you to become more present with your own heart, more present with your own needs, more present with the quiet guidance beneath the noise, more present with the difference between what excites your wound and what nourishes your spirit. There is an important difference. Some things activate you because they are aligned, and some things activate you because they touch an old fear. Chasing often feels exciting because it wakes up the part of you that wants to win, to prove, to finally receive the love you once felt denied. It can feel magnetic because it is familiar. But familiar is not always peaceful. Familiar is not always safe. Familiar is not always meant to stay. Calm energy helps you feel the difference. It does not happen all at once. But gently, with practice, you begin to notice. This person makes me anxious, but not truly seen. This opportunity looks impressive, but my body feels tight around it. This path would impress others, but it does not feel honest in my spirit. This delay is uncomfortable, but it may be giving me time to listen. This quiet is not empty. It may be asking me to return inward. When you are calm, you can hear these subtle messages. When you are chasing, everything sounds like an emergency. That is why your calm is sacred. Not because it controls the outer world, but because it restores your inner hearing. And what is meant for you, in the D, pest sense, will not be offended by your calm. It will not require constant panic to remain connected. It will not ask you to betray your body's wisdom. It will not demand that you live in endless tension just to keep it alive. What is meant for your peace may still ask courage of you. It may ask patience. It may ask growth. It may ask honesty. It may ask you to become more responsible with your thoughts, your words, your choices. But it will not ask you to abandon your soul. Feel the difference. There are dreams that stretch you and dreams that drain you. There are connections that challenge you to open and connections that train you to shrink. There are opportunities that require effort and opportunities that require self-betrayal. There are seasons of waiting that build trust and seasons of waiting that expose where you have been giving your power away. Calm energy helps you know which is which. It is like clearing fog from a window. The view may not become perfect right away, but enough clears for you to see the next step. And sometimes the next step is not dramatic. Sometimes it is simply to stop reaching today. Sometimes it is to let one message remain unsent. Sometimes it is to take care of your body. Sometimes it is to tell the truth in your journal. Sometimes it is to pray without bargaining. Sometimes it is to bless the desire and then place it down for the evening. Sometimes it is to say, if this is aligned with me, may it meet me in a way that honors peace. That is a beautiful prayer. If this is aligned with me, may it meet me in a way that honors peace. It is open, but not desperate, hopeful, but not controlling, soft, but not weak. And when something does meet you in peace, you will recognize it differently. You will not need to grip it so tightly. You will not need to test it every moment. You will not need to turn it into your only source of safety. You will be able to receive it with gratitude because you have already begun creating a home inside yourself. That inner home matters. Without it, even blessings can feel frightening. A kind word may feel suspicious. A loving connection may feel too good to trust. An opportunity may bring panic instead of joy. Rest may bring guilt instead of renewal. So much of receiving depends on whether the body feels safe enough to let good stay. And that is why the path is not only about attracting what is meant for you. It is also about becoming peaceful enough to hold what is good without fear, turning it into pressure. You are learning to hold good gently. You are learning to let love arrive without chasing it into a corner. You are learning to let abundance be more than something you hunt. It can also be something you notice, cultivate, and welcome. You are learning that timing has its own wisdom, even when you do not understand it. Ah, timing. This is where many hearts become restless, because waiting can feel like being left outside in the cold. Waiting can make the mind create stories. Waiting can bring up every old belief that says, I am behind, I am forgotten, I have missed my chance, it is happening for everyone else but me. If you have ever felt that, Be gentle with yourself. Waiting can be tender. Waiting can touch places in us that are still afraid of being overlooked. It is easy to trust when everything is arriving on schedule. It is easy to feel spiritual when the answer is yes, the door is open, the message comes, the money is enough, the love is clear, the path is visible. But trust becomes deeper when life is quiet. Not because you force yourself to be happy in uncertainty, not because you deny your human longing, but because you learn to remain kind to yourself while you do not yet know. Divine timing does not have to be used as a phrase that shuts down your feelings. If you are disappointed, you are allowed to feel disappointed. If you are tired of waiting, you are allowed to admit that. If you are confused, you do not need to pretend you are perfectly peaceful. True spiritual comfort does not say, "Stop feeling that." It says, "Bring that feeling into love. Bring the impatience, bring the sadness, bring the fear, bring the part of you that wants to know when, and sit with it gently." There may be wisdom in the waiting, but that does not mean the waiting never hurts. There may be purpose in a delay, but that does not mean you have to smile through it. There may be unseen movement, but that does not mean your longing is silly. Let your humanity be included in your spirituality. You are not less faithful because you have questions. You are not less healed because you sometimes feel impatient. You are not failing because you still care about the outcome. You are simply human. And in your humanity, you can still practice trust. Trust can sound like this: "I do not understand the timing, but I will not use this delay to harm myself. I do not see the full picture, but I can take care of my heart today. I do not know what comes next, but I can choose one peaceful thought now. I may feel uncertain, but I do not have to become unkind to myself." This is divine timing without panic. It is not passive waiting. It is conscious waiting. It is the kind of waiting where you keep living. You keep nourishing yourself. You keep creating. You keep resting. You keep listening. You keep opening to unexpected forms of good. You stop standing frozen in front of one closed door as if it is the only entrance life has ever made. Sometimes we stare so long at what has not arrived that we miss what is quietly trying to support us. A conversation that brings comfort. A new idea that feels light. A little more strength in the morning. A boundary that finally becomes clear. A moment of laughter in the middle of uncertainty. A small opportunity that does not look like the one we imagined, but carries a gentle invitation. When you are chasing, you may dismiss these things because they are not the exact answer you demanded. But when you are calm, you begin to notice the quiet ways life is still speaking. Not always loudly, not always dramatically, but steadily, like a lamp in a window. Not the whole sunrise, just enough light for the next few steps, and perhaps that is all you need today. Not the whole map, not the final answer, not the complete explanation. Just enough light for the next few steps. The anxious mind wants the entire future before it agrees to feel safe. But the soul often walks by smaller lights. A breath, a knowing, a gentle no, a softened yes. A moment of peace that does not make sense, but still arrives. This is why calm energy attracts what is meant for you in a deeper way. Not because calm forces the universe to deliver on demand, but because calm allows you to notice what fear would overlook. Calm allows you to make choices that desperation would not make. Calm allows you to receive without immediately doubting. Calm allows you to release what only feeds the wound. Calm allows you to stay available to life instead of locked inside one obsession. And so timing becomes less of an enemy. You may still wish things would happen sooner. That is natural. But you begin to trust that your life is not meaningless in the meantime. The meantime matters. The season before arrival matters. The quiet stretch where you are becoming more honest with yourself matters. The days when you learn not to chase matter. The nights when you place the desire down and choose sleep matter. The moments when you return to dignity matter. Do not call this season wasted just because it has not yet given you the outcome you wanted. Something may still be forming in you, not as punishment, not as a test you must pass perfectly, but as a quiet strengthening. You may be learning how to receive without fear. You may be learning how to love without losing yourself. You may be learning how to trust your own timing instead of measuring your life against someone else's. You may be learning that you are not behind simply because your path has curves. A flower that opens at dusk is not late because it did not open in the morning. It is following its own nature. And perhaps there are parts of your life that are opening according to a rhythm you cannot yet understand. You can honor that rhythm. You can still take action, but without violence toward your own heart. You can still prepare, but without panic. You can still hope, but without holding your breath until life agrees. Breathe now. Let the breath remind you that you are not suspended until something happens. You are alive now. This day counts. This moment counts. Your peace now counts. And while you wait for what you want, you are allowed to receive what is already here. This is a very important shift, because sometimes the chase keeps the eyes fixed so tightly on one future blessing that the present blessings become invisible. You may be waiting for a great love and missing the small love in a friend's voice. You may be waiting for abundance and missing the resourcefulness already growing in you. You may be waiting for a new beginning and missing the fact that you are making new choices today. You may be waiting for peace and missing the one quiet breath available right now. Receiving begins in small places. It begins with letting a compliment land, without pushing it away. It begins with allowing help without feeling guilty. It begins with resting before your body is completely exhausted. It begins with saying thank you without immediately trying to repay. It begins with noticing a moment of beauty and not rushing past it. It begins with letting someone be kind to you without wondering what they want. It begins with letting yourself enjoy what is good without preparing for it to be taken. For some hearts, this is difficult, not because they are ungrateful, but because they have been trained to survive. When you have lived in survival energy for a long time, receiving can feel unsafe. Ease can feel unfamiliar. Calm can feel like a trick. Good can feel temporary. Love can feel like something you must quickly earn before it disappears. So be patient. Receiving is a practice. It is not only about receiving big things. It is about teaching your whole being that good does not always need to be chased, earned, or feared. You can practice with small moments. A warm drink held slowly, a deep breath before answering the day, a kind word aloud into the heart, a few minutes of quiet without explaining why you need them, a sunset noticed fully, a meal eaten without rushing, a prayer spoken without bargaining, a moment of support accepted without apology. These simple things tell the body, I am allowed to receive. Not someday. Not only when everything is fixed. Now, in small, honest ways. Say gently, if it feels right, I am learning to receive with a peaceful heart. I am learning to receive with a peaceful heart. There is no force in that affirmation, no demand, no pressure to become instantly open, only learning. And learning is kind. You are allowed to be learning. You are allowed to open slowly. You are allowed to receive one drop at a time until your heart remembers that it does not have to live like a closed fist. The closed fist is understandable. It has protected you. It has helped you endure. It has kept you alert when life felt unpredictable. But a fist cannot receive. It can only hold what it already has, and often it holds even that with pain. An open hand feels vulnerable at first, but it also feels free. This is the heart of letting go, not throwing away your desire, not denying your longing, not pretending you do not care, simply opening the hand. You can imagine it now if you like. Not as a scene to watch, but as a feeling inside the body. The hand of your heart has been gripping something tightly. It may be a person, a plan, an outcome, an apology, a dream, a version of life you thought had to happen exactly one way. Feel the grip. Do not judge it. It formed because something mattered. It formed because you wanted to be safe. It formed because the desire touched a tender place. Now, very gently, let the fingers of the heart loosen. Not all at once. Just enough for breath to enter. Just enough for pain to soften. Just enough to remember that you can love something without clenching around it. Letting go does not mean I no longer care. Letting go means I will no longer turn my care into suffering. Letting go does not mean I reject this desire. It means I release the panic around this desire. Letting go does not mean I stop participating in my life. It means I stop trying to control every unseen piece. Letting go does not mean I become passive. It means I become peaceful enough to know the difference between inspired action and anxious pursuit. Inspired action has breath in it. Anxious pursuit has pressure in it. Inspired action feels clear, even if it takes courage. Anxious pursuit feels rushed, even when there is no true emergency. Inspired action honors your body. Anxious pursuit often ignores it. Inspired action can accept a pause. Anxious pursuit thinks every pause is danger. So when you are unsure, ask your body, is this action coming from love, or is it coming from panic? Is this message coming from truth or from the need to control someone's response? Is this effort coming from devotion or from the belief that I am nothing unless this works? There is no shame if the answer is panic. Awareness is not punishment. Awareness is a doorway. The moment you see the pattern, you have already stepped out of it a little, and then you can choose again. Maybe you still act, but more slowly. Maybe you wait until the body softens. Maybe you write the message and do not send it yet. Maybe you pray first. Maybe you breathe. Maybe you ask, what would self-respect do here? That question can change everything. What would self-respect do here? Not pride, not punishment, not pretending not to care. Self-respect. The steady voice inside that says, I can be kind and still be clear. I can be open and still be wise. I can want this and still choose peace. When you bring self-respect into desire, the energy changes. You no longer reach from emptiness. You reach from wholeness. You no longer ask life to prove you are worthy. You participate because you already are. You no longer make one outcome your entire source of hope. You let hope become wider. This wider hope is important. Narrow hope says it must happen this way, through this person, by this time, or I cannot be okay. Wider hope says I welcome good in the form that is truly aligned with my peace. Narrow hope creates fear. Wider hope creates space. Narrow hope grips. Wider hope breathes. And life often needs space to move in ways the mind did not plan. Sometimes the path that brings you peace does not look like the path you were chasing. Sometimes the answer comes through a different door. Sometimes the blessing is not the return of what left, but the restoration of the part of you that thought it could not live without it. Sometimes what is meant for you is not only an outer arrival. Sometimes what is meant for you is an inner return, a return to dignity, a return to calm, a return to your own voice, a return to the knowledge that you can love deeply without losing yourself. This is not a small thing. This is a sacred thing, because when you stop chasing, you reclaim the energy you were spending on fear. And that energy can come home. It can nourish your body. It can feed your creativity. It can strengthen you. Your intuition. It can help you notice opportunities that anxiety made invisible. It can help you sleep more softly. It can help you speak more truthfully. It can help you choose relationships that feel mutual, not one-sided. The energy you once used to chase can become the energy you use to build a beautiful inner life. And from that inner life, you meet the world differently. You are less easily pulled by mixed signals, less impressed by inconsistency, less willing to confuse longing with alignment, less available for situations that require you to keep proving your value, more able to recognize calm love, more able to receive steady support, more able to trust slow growth, more able to say no without guilt, more able to say yes without fear. This is how life begins to change from the inside outward, not through force, not through grand promises, but through repeated small returns to peace. One peaceful choice, one honest breath, one boundary, one moment of not chasing, one act of receiving, one softening of the hand. These become a new way of living. And if part of you still worries that letting go will make you lose what is meant for you, speak gently to that part. Say, I am not letting go of love. I am letting go of fear. I am not letting go of hope. I am letting go of panic. I am not letting go of my dream. I am letting go of the belief that I must suffer to deserve it. Let this be the new understanding. You do not have to suffer to deserve what is good. You do not have to be tense for life to know you care. You do not have to keep proving, chasing, or pleading for what belongs in the field of your peace. And if something only remains when you are anxious, chasing, overgiving, and afraid, then perhaps it is not asking for more effort. Perhaps it is revealing that your heart deserves a different kind of relationship with life. One that is rooted, one that breathes, one that allows, one that receives, one that does not make a prison out of desire. The next time you feel the old urgency rise, do not fight it. Fighting urgency often makes it louder. Instead, meet it like a wave passing through the body. Feel the heat, feel the tightness, feel the impulse to do something quickly. Then soften one place, the jaw, the stomach, the hands, the shoulders. One place is enough. Let the body know we are not in danger just because we do not have an answer yet. We are not in danger just because something is taking time. We are not in danger just because someone else has not chosen clearly. We are not in danger just because the future is not visible today. This is the beginning of inner safety, and inner safety is the soil where calm energy grows. Without inner safety, affirmations can feel like words floating above a frightened body. But when the body begins to soften, even a simple phrase can go deeper. So keep it simple. I can pause. I can breathe. I can choose again. I can stay with myself. These are not dramatic words, but they are powerful because they are believable. A believable affirmation opens the door more gently than a grand statement your body cannot yet trust, and your body matters in this journey. Your body is where chasing lives. It lives in the checking, the rushing, the tightening, the sleepless thoughts, the stomach that knots around uncertainty, the shoulders that carry invisible pressure. So your body must be included in the letting go, not just the mind, not just the words. The body. Let the body feel that it is allowed to stop running. Let the breath become longer than the fear. Let the hands open. Let the eyes rest. Let the heart receive the message. Nothing about this moment requires me to abandon myself. Stay with that. Nothing about this moment requires me to abandon myself. There may still be things to do. There may still be conversations to have. There may still be decisions ahead. But you do not have to make them from panic. You can let calm return first. You can let your spirit sit down inside you. You can let the water settle before you decide what you see. Because muddy water cannot become clear by being stirred harder. It clears when it is allowed to rest. Your mind is the same. When you keep stirring it with fear, every thought becomes cloudy. But when you pause, when you breathe, when you stop poking the wound for proof, something begins to settle. Not always completely, not all at once, but enough. Enough to feel the next honest step. Enough to know whether to speak or wait. Enough to remember that your worth is not on trial. Enough to sense that peace is not far away. It is beneath the agitation, waiting to be uncovered. And as you allow the inner waters to settle, you may begin to feel a new relationship with what you desire. It is still there, but it is not sitting on your chest. It is no longer the judge of your life. It is no longer the only door in the world. It becomes something you can bless, something you can hold lightly, something you can move toward if guided, and release if it begins to cost your soul. This is a beautiful freedom, to want without worshiping, to love without losing yourself, to wait without wasting your life, to receive without fear, to act without chasing. This is the calm energy that makes you available to what is truly meant for you. And what is truly meant for you is not only something outside, it is also the state of being you are returning to now. Peace is meant for you. Self-respect is meant for you. A kinder inner voice is meant for you. Rest without guilt is meant for you. Love that does not require constant fear is meant for you. Abundance that feels aligned with integrity is meant for you. A life where you can breathe inside your own choices is meant for you. Do not make the idea of what is meant for you too small. It is not only one person, not only one opportunity, not only one result, not only one version of the future. What is meant for you is also the unfolding of your own wholeness. And as you become more whole within, you begin to meet outer life with a clearer energy. You stop trying to pull blessings through a keyhole. You open the room. You open the breath. You open the heart. You open the possibility that good can come in ways your fear did not predict. This does not mean every wish will become reality. It means you will no longer be held hostage by only one imagined outcome. And that is peace. That is spaciousness. That is spiritual maturity. There is a softness that comes when you stop saying, "It must be this or nothing." A larger trust begins to whisper, "May it be this or something more aligned. May it come now or when the timing is wiser. May it stay if it is rooted in truth. May it leave if it only feeds my fear. May I remain connected to myself either way." That is not giving up. That is sacred openness. And sacred openness is very different from chasing. Chasing says, "I must have this to be okay." Sacred openness says, "I welcome what is right, and I trust myself to meet what comes." Chasing says, "I will become whoever I need to become to get it." Sacred openness says, "I will become more truly myself and let what aligns recognize me there." Chasing says, "I cannot rest until I know." Sacred openness says, "I can rest while life continues to unfold." Let that final line move through you slowly. I can rest while life continues to unfold. There is so much mercy in that. You can rest before the answer. You can rest before the arrival. You can rest before the apology. You can rest before the breakthrough. You can rest before the proof. Rest is not a reward for controlling everything. Rest is a way of remembering that you are human. And when you allow yourself to rest, your energy changes. The desperation begins to loosen. The inner noise becomes quieter. The heart becomes less like a locked room and more like a place where life can enter gently. This is where receiving becomes possible. Not receiving as a demand, not receiving as a transaction, not receiving as, "I was calm for 1 hour, so now life must give me what I want." Receiving as a relationship with life, a relationship with trust, a relationship with your own worth, a relationship with the present moment, a relationship with the unknown. Can you receive this breath? Can you receive the support of the surface beneath you? Can you receive the possibility that you do not need to know everything tonight? Can you receive the truth that you are allowed to be cared for in ways you may not fully see yet? Start there. Start with what is close. because the person who cannot receive one gentle breath may struggle to receive larger blessings without fear. And the person who learns to receive the small with gratitude becomes more spacious within, not perfect, spacious, available, less defended against good, less addicted to struggle, less suspicious of ease. This does not make you naive. In fact, calm receiving makes you more discerning, because when you are not starving for proof, you can taste what is actually being offered. You can tell when something is nourishing. You can tell when something is only familiar. You can tell when a yes is peaceful. You can tell when a no is protective. You can tell when waiting is wise. You can tell when worrying. Ting has become self-abandonment. This is the wisdom you are reclaiming, and it begins not in the future, but in this very moment. A moment where the chase softens, a moment where your breath returns, a moment where your heart remembers it does not need to run after what can only be received in peace. And now, gently, let this understanding move from your thoughts into your body, because the body is often the last place to believe what the spirit already knows. Your mind may understand that chasing does not bring peace. Your heart may feel the truth of it for a moment, but the body may still carry the old urgency. The body may still brace for disappointment. The body may still expect silence, delay, rejection, or struggle. The body may still believe that if it relaxes, something will go wrong. So do not rush the body. Do not scold it for being tense. Do not demand that it trust immediately. The body has its own language, and that language is slow, patient, and kind. Let your attention come to your breath, not to control it, only to notice it. There is breath moving through you right now, even if it is shallow, even if it feels uneven, even if the mind is busy. Something in you is still choosing life. Something in you is still continuing. Something in you has not given up. Let that be enough for this moment. Feel the jaw. If it is tight, let it soften just a little. Feel the shoulders. If they are lifted, let them drop by even the smallest amount. Feel the hands. If they are gripping, let the fingers loosen. Feel the space around the heart. If it feels guarded, do not force it open. Just breathe near it, as if sitting beside a closed door with patience instead of pressure. There is no need to break yourself open. There is no need to become peaceful by force. Peace that is forced is only another kind of tension. Let peace arrive like evening light, slowly entering the room without demanding attention. Breathe in gently. And as you breathe out, imagine the need to chase leaving the body like a long sigh. Not gone forever, not solved forever, just softened for now. Again, breathe in and breathe out the belief that you must earn your place in life through panic. One more breath. Breathe in steadiness. Breathe out urgency. Let the body hear this message. I can slow down and still be guided. You do not need to say it perfectly. You do not need to feel it completely. Just let the idea touch you. I can slow down and still be guided. So much of your life may have been lived in a rush to arrive somewhere, to become someone, to fix something, to receive the answer, to get beyond the uncertainty, to finally feel secure. And yet the deeper part of you is not asking to be rushed. The deeper part of you is asking to be heard. It may speak through a quiet heaviness when you are forcing something. It may speak through a sense of relief when you stop trying to control. It may speak through the way your breath changes around certain people, certain choices, certain dreams. It may speak as a gentle pull toward one step and a quiet closing around another. Calm energy makes room for thee at voice. It does not shout over your fear. It waits beneath it. And when you give yourself enough stillness, enough kindness, enough space, you begin to hear what has been trying to guide you all along. The chase often makes the world loud. Calm makes the soul audible. So let this become a practice in your life. Before you react, breathe. Before you reach, listen. Before you say yes, feel. Before you chase, return. You do not have to become passive. You do not have to wait for life to do everything for you. But you can learn to move from a place that does not betray your peace. There is action that comes from fear, and there is action that comes from alignment. Fearful action says, I must do this, or I will lose everything. Aligned action says, this feels honest, and I can take this step with self-respect. Fearful action feels like a hand pushing your back. Aligned action feels like a light opening in front of you. Fearful action drains you even before you begin. Aligned action may require courage, but it does not ask you to abandon yourself. This difference is subtle, but your body can learn it. Your body can learn the feeling of yes. Your body can learn the feeling of no. Your body can learn the feeling of not yet. Your body can learn the feeling of peace. And when the body learns peace, your choices begin to change. You stop chasing what only gives you temporary relief. You stop feeding the cycle of anxiety with more checking, more proving, more reaching, more mental stories. You pause long enough to ask, what am I really needing right now? Am I needing love? Am I needing reassurance? Am I needing rest? Am I needing clarity? Am I needing to feel chosen? Am I needing to remember that I am still worthy, even without this answer? Many times, beneath the chase is a very tender need. And when you meet the need directly, the chase begins to lose its power. If you are chasing a message, perhaps what you are truly needing is reassurance. If you are chasing success, perhaps what you are truly needing is permission to feel enough. If you are chasing money, perhaps what you are truly needing is a sense of safety and support. If you are chasing love, perhaps what you are truly needing is the return of your own heart. This does not mean the outer desire is wrong. It simply means the inner need deserves your attention too. Because even if the outer thing arrives, the inner wound will still ask to be loved. A person can answer the message, and the fear may still return tomorrow. An opportunity can appear, and the mind may still wonder if it will last. Money can come, and the nervous system may still feel unsafe. Praise can arrive, and the old voice may still ask, but do they really mean it? So the deeper work is not only receiving what you want, it is becoming a safe place for yourself when you want. It is learning to hold desire without becoming consumed by it. It is learning to welcome good without needing it to repair your entire identity. It is learning to trust that your worth does not rise and fall with every outer movement. This is a gentle practice, a daily practice, a breath-by-breath practice. And it is enough to begin with one moment where you choose not to chase, one moment where you let the body settle, one moment where you place your attention back on your own heart and say, I am here with you. Not the same words as before, not as a performance, but as a real return. I am here with you. This is the kind of inner companionship that changes the energy of your life. Because a heart that feels abandoned will chase. A heart that feels accompanied can wait with more grace. A heart that feels unseen will overperform. A heart that feels witnessed can soften. A heart that feels unsafe will grip. A heart that feels held can open. And you can become that holding presence for yourself. Not perfectly, not every moment, but more often than before. That is how a new life is built, not all at once, not through pressure, but through 1,000 gentle returns. And from this place, love begins to look different. Abundance begins to feel different. Opportunities begin to be seen through clearer eyes. Love from a peaceful state does not feel like a hunger that must be fed at any cost. It feels like a meeting, a mutual breath, a place where both people can be real. It does not demand that one heart do all the reaching while the other remains comfortably distant. Love that is aligned with peace may still require patience. It may still require communication. It may still have human imperfections, but it does not constantly ask you to betray your own spirit to keep it alive. When you are calm, you stop asking only, do they want me? You begin to ask, do I feel like myself here? Do I feel respected here? Do I feel peaceful here? Can my heart breathe here? These questions are sacred. They protect the tenderness in you. And abundance from a peaceful state also changes. It is no longer only a number, a possession, a future day when you finally feel safe. It becomes a way of noticing support in many forms while still taking wise steps in the practical world. Abundance can be the idea that arrives when you are not forcing, the helpful conversation, the strength to begin again, the discipline to care for what you already have, the courage to ask for what is fair, the humility to learn, the gratitude that opens your eyes to the good already present, the confidence to take one grounded step. Calm energy does not mean sitting still forever and waiting for life to hand everything to you. It means taking action without hating yourself. It means building without desperation. It means welcoming more while honoring enoughness now. This is a balanced path, a path where spirituality and responsibility can walk together. You can trust divine timing and still answer the email. You can believe in support and still make the plan. You can release panic and still take the next step. You can open to abundance and still be honest, practical, and wise. You can allow life to surprise you without refusing to participate in your own growth. The difference is the energy beneath it. Are you moving because you feel guided, or because you feel worthless unless you achieve? Are you giving because your heart is full, or because you are afraid to be left? Are you waiting because you feel peace, or because you are afraid to choose yourself? Are you working because it is aligned, or because you are trying to outrun shame? These questions may feel tender, but they are not here to judge you. They are here to bring you back to truth. Your calm energy is not a costume. It is a relationship with yourself. It is how you speak inwardly when nothing is certain. It is how you care for your body when your mind wants to rush. It is how you remain open without becoming desperate. It is how you allow good to come without demanding that it save you from yourself. And sometimes the most powerful shift happens when nothing outside has changed yet. This is important because there may be a part of you listening and wondering, but what if I have tried to trust and nothing happened? What if I have spoken the affirmations? What if I have tried to let go? What if I have waited? What if I have breathed? What if I have done my best and still the outer world looks the same? If that is the question in your heart, do not turn it against yourself. Do not use it as proof that you are failing. Sometimes the first movement is quiet. Sometimes the first change is not the arrival of the thing, but the easing of the grip. Sometimes the first blessing is not that the situation transforms, but that you stop turning against yourself inside it. Sometimes the first sign of healing is that you check less. You blame yourself less. You sleep a little deeper. You let one unanswered thing remain unanswered. You stop explaining your worth to someone who is not listening. You notice beauty again. You choose food, water, rest, fresh air, prayer, or silence instead of another spiral. You feel the sadness without becoming the sadness. You let the desire exist without letting it rule the entire room. These are not small changes. They are the foundation of a calmer life. The world often celebrates dramatic shifts, but the soul often heals in subtle movements. A little less fear, a little more breath, a little less proving, a little more dignity, a little less clinging, a little more trust, a little less self-abandonment, a little more homecoming. This is enough to honor. You do not need to see the whole garden bloom to know that something has been planted. You do not need to have the final answer to notice that your energy is becoming kinder. And perhaps that is where true receiving begins, not in demanding that life show proof immediately, but in becoming sensitive to the gentle evidence that you are already changing. Maybe you are not reacting the way you once did. Maybe you are pausing where you used to pursue. Maybe you are choosing silence where you used to plead. Maybe you are letting your worth remain intact even when someone else is unclear. Maybe you are becoming less interested in what costs you your peace. That is growth. Quiet growth. Sacred growth, and it deserves your gratitude, not because everything is perfect, not because all your desires have arrived, not because the future is guaranteed, but because you are learning to be with yourself in a new way. Gratitude does not have to deny pain. It can sit beside pain and say, even here, there is one small light. Even here, I can thank my breath. Even here, I can thank my heart for trying. Even here, I can thank myself for staying. Even here, I can thank life for the next gentle step. Gratitude softens the chase because it brings the eyes back to what is present. The chase says, nothing is enough until that arrives. Gratitude says, I can still honor what is here while remaining open to more. Both can exist. You can desire more and appreciate now. You can be honest about longing and still notice support. You can look toward the future and still receive this breath. This is not contradiction. This is wholeness. And wholeness is where your energy becomes steady. When you are not split between wanting and rejecting the present, something calms inside you. You stop treating today as an obstacle. You stop making this season meaningless just because it is unfinished. Every season has a teaching. The season of waiting may teach patience. The season of uncertainty may teach inner safety. The season of disappointment may teach self-compassion. The season of rebuilding may teach courage. The season of quiet may teach listening. The season of letting go may teach you that your hands were made not only to hold, but also to open. And your hands are opening now. Maybe slowly, maybe with trembling, but opening. You are learning to hold life differently, not as something to chase until you collapse. not as something to control until you exhaust yourself, not as something to fear until you shrink, but as something to meet with breath, with dignity, with willingness, with a heart that is soft but no longer begging to be saved by what it desires. This is the deeper meaning of becoming the energy you want to live in. Do not become calm only so something will come. Become calm because peace is a worthy place to live. Do not love yourself only so someone else will love you. Love yourself because your own heart has waited long enough. Do not practice trust only as a technique to attract an outcome. Practice trust because fear has taken enough of your life. Do not release the chase only to manipulate what returns. Release the chase because you are tired of running from your own wholeness. This is where spirituality becomes real. It is not just beautiful words. It is the way you treat yourself when desire is loud. It is the way you breathe when timing is unclear. It is the way you choose dignity when old patterns call your name. It is the way you open to abundance without despising where you are. It is the way you welcome love without making another person responsible for your entire sense of worth. It is the way you let life be mysterious without deciding that mystery means abandonment. You are becoming the kind of presence that can sit with uncertainty and not collapse. You are becoming the kind of person who can want something and still remain kind. You are becoming the kind of heart that can receive without gripping. You are becoming the kind of spirit that trusts not because everything is known, but because you are learning to walk with yourself through the unknown. This is powerful, quietly powerful. The world may not see it at first. There may be no applause for the moment you choose not to chase. No one may know how much strength it took to stay calm. No one may see the inner battle you softened with one breath. But your soul knows, your body knows. The younger parts of you know. They feel the difference when you do not abandon them. They feel the difference when you say, I will not run after love in a way that leaves me unloved by myself. They feel the difference when you choose rest instead of panic. And little by little, the inner atmosphere changes. You become less like a storm searching for shelter and more like a room with a steady lamp glowing inside. People may feel it. Opportunities may meet it. Your own choices will certainly be shaped by it. But even before anything outside responds, you will know. You will know that you are no longer living entirely at the mercy of every delay, every silence, every uncertain outcome. You will know that something in you has come home, and from that home, you can still dream. Please understand this. Letting go of the chase does not mean letting go of your beautiful visions. It means letting them breathe. It means allowing your dreams to be held in love instead of fear. It means taking them out of the tight fist of desperation and placing them on an inner altar of trust. You can still say, I would love this. You can still say, I am open to this. You can still say, I am preparing for good. You can still say, I am willing to meet aligned opportunities. You can still say, may love, peace, abundance, and clarity find me in ways that honor my soul. But beneath all of it, you also say, and I remain whole as life unfolds. That is the difference. I remain whole as life unfolds. Let that be a soft anchor. Not rigid, not forced, just steady. I remain whole as life unfolds. You may repeat it when you feel tempted to measure your worth by an outcome. You may remember it when timing feels slow. You may breathe with it when the mind wants to chase. You may place it gently in your heart before sleep. I remain whole as life unfolds, because you do. Even when you are uncertain, even when you are tender, even when you are still learning how to trust, even when the old pattern returns, even when you forget for a while and then remember again. Wholeness is not perfection. Wholeness is the willingness to return to yourself again and again, with less shame each time, with more tenderness each time, with more honesty each time. And perhaps now, after all this soft remembering, you can feel the chase losing some of its sharpness. Maybe not all of it. That is okay. We are not here to force a sudden transformation. We are here to create a gentler inner space. A space where desire can exist without becoming panic. A space where hope can live without demanding proof every second. And a space where your heart can rest, even while life continues arranging what you cannot see. Let yourself breathe into that space now. Let the breath come naturally. Let the shoulders soften again. Let the face relax. Let the hands open. Let the heart no longer be a place of pursuit, but a place of return. And if there is one desire that has been weighing heavily on you, hold it now with softness, not to chase it, not to force it, not to decide its final meaning, only to bless it. You might say inwardly, I honor this desire, and I release the fear around it. I honor this desire, and I release the fear around it. If it is aligned with truth, may it come with peace. If it is not aligned, may I be guided with kindness. If there is something for me to do, may I feel the next clear step. If there is nothing to do today, may I rest without guilt. This is a prayer of calm energy. It does not demand. It does not collapse. It does not close. It opens. It trusts. It lets your worth remain untouched by the unknown. There is such beauty in that. To be open but not desperate. To be hopeful but not frantic. To be loving but not self-abandoning. To be patient but not asleep to your own needs. To be spiritual but still honest about your humanity. This is the path of a calm heart. And the calm heart attracts differently because it chooses differently. It speaks differently. It waits differently. It receives differently. It notices differently. It no longer runs after every glittering thing. It asks, does this bring me closer to peace, truth, love, and self-respect? And when the answer is yes, it opens. When the answer is no, it releases. When the answer is unclear, it pauses. There is wisdom in the pause. The pause is not empty. The pause is where your soul catches up with your desire. The pause is where your nervous system learns that not every unknown is a threat. The pause is where old patterns lose momentum. The pause is where you remember that you have choices. So do not be afraid of the pause. Do not be afraid of the quiet. Do not be afraid of the space that appears when you stop chasing. At first, that space may feel unfamiliar. You may wonder what to do with all the energy you once spent on overthinking. You may feel the urge to fill the silence with another pursuit, another worry, another plan. But stay gently. Let the space become sacred. Let it become the place where your own voice returns. Let it become the place where your desires become clearer and less tangled. Let it become the place where you stop asking, how do I make this happen at any cost? And begin asking, what is truly loving for me now? That question will guide you well. What is truly loving for me now? Sometimes the loving thing is to act. Sometimes the loving thing is to rest. Sometimes the loving thing is to tell the truth. Sometimes the loving thing is to stop explaining. Sometimes the loving thing is to wait one more day. Sometimes the loving thing is to close a door with gratitude. Sometimes the loving thing is to open your heart again, but more wisely than before. You will know more clearly when you are not running. The soul does not need panic to guide you. It needs presence, and you are practicing presence now. So let the next few moments be very simple. There is nothing to chase in this breath. There is nothing to prove in this breath. There is nothing to force in this breath. This breath is only asking to be received. Receive it. Let it enter. Let it leave. Let it remind you that life is already moving through you without being chased. Your heart beats without your begging. The air arrives without your pleading. The earth holds you without your perfection. There are quiet forms of support already here. Let yourself notice them. Let gratitude rise, even if it is small. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for this moment of return. Thank you for the part of me that wants peace. Thank you for the wisdom that is growing slowly. Thank you for the courage to stop chasing what costs too much of my spirit. Thank you for the good I can see. Thank you for the good I cannot see yet. Thank you for the strength to meet life one step at a time. gratitude does not need to be grand to be holy. A small thank you can soften a hard place. A small thank you can bring the mind back from fear. A small thank you can remind the heart that this moment is not empty. And now, as this journey comes gently toward its close, let the message become simple enough to carry with you. You do not have to chase what is meant to meet you in peace. You do not have to become frantic to prove that you care. You do not have to abandon your body to reach your future. You do not have to earn love by losing yourself. You do not have to force open every door. You do not have to turn every delay into a sentence against your worth. You can breathe. You can listen. You can act when action feels clear. You can wait when waiting feels wise. You can release when holding becomes pain. You can receive when goodness arrives. You can remain gentle with yourself through all of it. And if tomorrow the old chase returns, do not despair. Do not say, "I failed." Do not turn one anxious moment into a story about who you are. Simply notice. Smile softly if you can. Place a hand on the heart if it helps. And return. Return to the breath. Return to the body. Return to the truth. I am allowed to want, and I am allowed to be at peace. I am allowed to hope, and I am allowed to rest. I am allowed to receive, and I am allowed to remain myself. I am allowed to trust life without forcing life. I am allowed to let what is aligned approach me in a way that does not require my self-abandonment. These words are not commands, they are invitations. Let them be gentle. Let them meet you where you are. Let them walk beside you as you continue. And as you move back into your day or into your night, carry this calm understanding with you. The chase does not define you. The longing does not shame you. The waiting does not diminish you. The uncertainty does not erase you. You are still here. You are still whole. You are still worthy of love that feels peaceful, opportunities that honor your integrity, abundance that supports your life, and a relationship with yourself that becomes kinder with time. May you stop running after what teaches you to fear. May you open to what helps you remember peace. May you trust the quiet guidance within you. May you be patient with the timing of your becoming. May you let your energy become calm, not to control the world, but to comfort your own heart. And may you know, in the deepest part of yourself, that you do not need to chase your worth. It has been with you all along. So rest now, even if only for one breath. Open your hands. Let the desire be held with softness. Let the future have room to unfold. Let your heart return to its own steady rhythm. What is truly aligned with your peace does not need to be hunted through fear. It can meet you as you become more fully yourself, and until it does, you are not empty. You are not behind. You are not forgotten by your own soul. You are here. You are breathing. You are learning to receive. And for this moment, that is enough.